reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
Today's ESO Reporter is brought to you by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems. Custom-built PCs delivered right to your door. Amazing quality, great options, and outstanding service. Today, if you use the coupon code MMO Reporter at the Doghouse Systems site, you get to double your RAM. So when you want a desktop or laptop that'll be the envy of your guild, kinship, or corporation, then our friends at Doghouse Systems are where you want to go. Everyone, and welcome to ESO Reporter. It's April 11th, 2014, and you are tuned into Greenland's #1 transatlantic source of information on the Elder Scrolls Online.
Woo!
I am Sven, and I'm happy to have with me again Jen.
Hello, Sven.
Hello, Jen. And how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, it's awesome as always, of course. Yes, I am full of Elder Scrolls.
Are you now?
I am, and we'll talk about that shortly. It does. It's painful. And I just heard Teppo, the chap of Synapse. How you doing, Tep?
I'm good. I got like an intro. Jen didn't get an intro.
I never get an intro. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I didn't give Jen an effervescent.
No.
I kept forgetting the effervescence.
That's okay. No, not effervescent.
No, I like that.
Sounds weird. Sounds like she's having a weird reaction.
She's bubbly.
I don't. Yeah. Am I? I know I used
Someone's
to be.
Put some diluted bleach on her, and she's just like
boiling away.
When I come up with one that is as good as Chap of Synapse, I'll start to it. But I just haven't had something yet. It's got to be. I got to have an inspiration.
Oh, so what you're saying is I don't inspire you? Thank you.
No, it's that I want something so good that it matches the level of your quality of person.
You're so good at covering yourself.
Digging out
holes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Tep, did you play
much? Not one for you either, though, do we?
Oh, no, not for me.
I've like a Sven with two views, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's all it has to be, isn't it?
See, that always reminds me of Adam and the Ants. And one of the dancers for Prince Charming.
Oh, yes.
Where he does the V sort of swipe across his eyes. That's what Sven with two V's reminds me of.
That's a weird video.
He was a weird chap. He is a weird chap.
Yep.
He's a strange man.
And that is horribly dating. There are probably a lot of people out there who have no idea what I'm talking about.
If you don't know who he is, have a look. Watch the video.
There is
Prince Charming with Adam and the Ants.
Adam and the Ants. Was it like romantic? Is it romantic rock or something? What did they call it?
I don't think.
It's romantic something. I can't remember. It is romantic.
It was the year of the romantics.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
It's glam.
Romantic glam or something. Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it romantic glam. It was glam.
Yeah.
Prog, maybe.
Possibly. Oh, well.
So how much Elder Scrolls Online have you guys been playing?
Sorry. We're sitting here. We've decided this is going to be a music podcast now. Let's look at the 80s, 1980s.
I was at a wedding this weekend, which massively cut into my ESO time. And one of my friends who was there in our little group only moved to the UK about a year or so ago, and the rest of us basically spent the entire 5 or 6 hours talking about pop culture references in the UK from the past 20 years.
Excellent.
I swear this person must have been bored out their skull. No, you could just see it in their eyes. There's no reference points or whatsoever.
This is in relation to our listeners right now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
Yes.
The listeners and my friend who moved here recently, probably in a similar boat right now.
Don't worry, we're bring all those things. I'm sure people know Adam and the Ant and Duran in excess. And
they know the last two. I don't think in America Adam and the Ant was. Oh, they know Depeche Mode too, but Adam and the Ant had a very small following here in the States. I remember, but not.
Wasn't that massive in the UK.
Okay, all right. I mean, when you talk about Duran Duran and Depeche Mode, they were pretty big here.
They're good, yeah.
Talk about NXS.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yes, I played not a lot of ESO this week.
Okay.
and it really, really hurts me deep inside.
He got really
Not-
annoyed tonight, actually, because one of the other guys we play with, Sven plays with, solo, decided that he was going to leave us tonight and play another game.
Oh,
Instead, not very limited playtime. We can't play our little static grid characters.
And that's
Yep.
a bit annoying because Tep and I currently are stuck at like 7th level or something.
Ninth.
Level. Okay, you got 9th level. Oh yeah, our characters are 9th level, aren't they? Yeah.
Mhm.
not our static
We can't
ones,
even
though.
get to PvP yet. That's how slow it's been this week.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And I have to say, I've been really obsessed with Game of Thrones this week.
Now, our static group characters are all at 6. These are your separate characters, right?
Oh yeah, these are our Daggerfall
Yep.
characters. We have like 2 static groups,
Okay.
2 subsets.
Yep.
But I was talking to Tep, it's like I refuse to roll up a solo character. I just won't do it because I'll just get sick of it. You know, I don't want to go through the same low-level quests again and again
Yep.
and again. I don't mind
think
doing that like if I'm 20th level, 25th level, but it's like, for God's sake, I feel like I'm living in Groundhog Day.
See, for my own sanity, I made the opposite decision. I said I have to roll a character. I'm not playing anyone else because I want to play the game. I want to enjoy it, and I can't keep getting caught up when our schedules collide.
You
or
know,
whatever.
I'm more on. I know I keep going on Tep's side on this, Jen. I'm really sorry. God, I feel like I'm just always on Tep's side. But
Because you love him.
I guess that
It's because
must be
I'm
it.
right always.
But because when we're in static group or we're playing together, and this is I don't want it to change, but we have more fun talking to each other than we do listening to quest texts.
That's true as well, actually.
And when I do solo, I actually get into the story a little more, and it's kind of fun. So I've done my Daggerfall character as well, and now I think I'm going to start a Sork on Ebonheart Pact as well. So,
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to. I'm thinking about rolling up potentially. It's just the thing is, it has nothing to do with me. I would like to do solo because I'd like to listen to the quests as well. But I just can't bear doing the lower level areas again and again and again and again.
I especially love listening to the German
Oh,
spirits.
they're so awesome. I do hope they don't change them. I know one of our friends was saying that there was loads of complaints about them.
why?
Because people were upset that they were speaking German.
Wouldn't the Germans be just like, this is fine?
Yes, of course, there are German.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
Why are all these other quests in English? All these other NPCs talking English.
I feel like,
To be fair, the few Germans I've met speak better English than any of the English people I know.
Doesn't surprise. Especially Americans.
to be fair, the language isn't so different, though, is it really? It's not that different.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun. That hasn't changed, by the way. I've got a 15 in Daggerfall, and I think the last spirit I ran into was level 12 or 13, and she spoke German as well. Deutsch.
Oh, I do hope they keep that. Because they either need to keep it with the German or they have to have a Scandinavian accent because it just makes sense. Don't know why it makes sense, but it does.
You know what?
In my mind.
It doesn't make sense at all.
No.
And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because they're speaking. I like the idea of speaking to you in a different language. Oh, that's weird. But you're able to read the text in your language. So even if you're like, they're speaking a weird language, you then have to start thinking that your actual player character in the world has some kind of magical vision, which is printing subtitles on his life.
Oh, you're making me think of something. So, would it be so bad if in a game, instead of them talking in your language, they spoke in theirs and just had subtitles, like a movie would, like an international movie would?
Oh, you mean if they spoke like in their common tongue or whatever it is?
Right.
That'd be weird.
Right.
Because you'd
It's
have to get the language sorted out as well, wouldn't you? You'd have to get a linguist in there to go, this is what the language is like.
Sure.
The only problem with subtitles is they are distracting.
Yes.
So you'll spend time. It's like if you're ever doing a presentation at work or something, you want to minimize the amount of text on the page because it doesn't matter what you're saying or doing. You could be molesting a ferret on stage. If there's text on there, people are going to read that before they start paying attention to you. That may be good if you need to hide that ferret suddenly, but most of the time it's bad. They'll miss the initial intro to your point and whatnot.
I have to say though, yeah, I can kind of see your point, but equally when you're talking about subtitles, I watch a number of subtitled films, and I think when you're watching them, you do tend to just ignore the subtitles. I mean,
like an
eventually,
Italian opera where you don't really care that they're speaking in a different language.
yeah. No, I just don't think it's that. I just think you just don't realize you are reading it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, I find that because I watch a lot of Japanese and Chinese films.
Godzilla.
Godzilla! Yes, I love Godzilla.
I don't know. I think anything with it's sort of dialogue heavy, it's a problem.
I don't know. Maybe. I guess it
I just
depends
thought
what you're
this
like
was
with
kind of
languages as
interesting.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's good.
Anyway, so
But
yeah,
German,
good.
German sounds good. I like it. German's such a nice language as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it nice.
No, I used to really think French was pretty, but when I heard German, I was like,
Right.
German's so much better than French. No offense to the French.
I like listening to the German language, but I'd never call it nice.
I don't know. It's got a nice ring to
Quite
it.
rough around the edges.
I guess so. It's probably from watching all those Indiana Jones films, though. You know?
We're probably just still bitter about the war.
Well, and okay, so not a lot of game time
Sven's
this
like the
first week,
mediator.
but
Stop
no,
that.
I'm not.
Stop.
But hopefully, more here in the future. I was able to play more just because of scheduling, and we'll talk about. We had mentioned about our own guild going forward, and we'll talk about that a little later in the podcast. But we keep pushing for some community involvement, and hopefully we'll be able to do something there to enhance that and let you guys be part of our guild and see how that community grows. But before we go there, let's talk about news. Okay, so starting off here with news, do we have much patch content, Tep? Have you seen anything out there?
So there's been a couple of little patches, 1.01 and 1.02 patches, or 1.0.02.
1.0.0.0.0.
Yeah, slightly odd. I presume expansions are going to be 0.1, or big content thing is going to be 0.1. Mostly it seems to be bug fixing, as you kind of expect, because we're only a week after launch now, so it's, a lot of fixing broken quests or odd behaviors and the occasional crash issue.
Have you guys run into many, sorry to interrupt, but have you guys run into any problems, any major problems?
Some.
Okay.
I've only crashed once.
We had that weird
when you
crash,
first got
didn't
in?
we?
So there was some kind of issue apparently earlier this week. I was out of town for a few days, so I didn't experience it directly. But I believe it required one of these patches or something, or servers to go down, which were throwing people out on load screens or some such.
Okay.
So I had one of those when I came back on Wednesday. The first time I tried loading in with the character, I was trying to load into Auradon, and it just hung and then crashed me out.
Yeah, and I know that last week we had a really weird, myself and Solo had a really weird crash. We were in Bretnik, and all of a sudden we just went into this zone, this area. It wasn't even a zone, it was just obviously a point on the map, and we just crashed out. So there's obviously small little errors here and there. But overall, I don't think it was a really bad launch, to be honest. I think it went relatively smoothly for for something so big.
The launch itself has been incredibly smooth. It was the couple of days before it.
Right, pre-launch.
That was a nightmare.
And the one or two little things that came up a couple of days later, sort of beginning of this week. Those are the only real issues. But the actual launch day itself and that first weekend, I thought went really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, major brownie points to ZeniMax Online for their first MMO they've launched, even though they've got some serious chops in the people working under their umbrella. But that went well. I'm not going to apologise to Matt Farrell, but well done.
I will say they have this horrible issue that they need to resolve, and that's the fact that they need to stop taking the server down at prime time in the UK. It's really irritating. Like, oh yes, the server's now down from 6 o'clock in the evening till 8:30, and you're going, oh great, fabulous. Only time I really have to play after dinner, 6 o'clock to 8:30. I mean, they're quite good with going, right, it's going to come up at this time, and they've done that a couple of times. They'll say the server's going to be up at 8, the server's going to be up at 6, and it has been. But it's just an awkward bloody time,
Yeah, so they've announced their what their routine maintenance periods are, and I am just trying to find the story now, the link in the forums with it all in, because
I hadn't realized that you were still having those downtimes.
Yeah, we've had a couple this week, actually, I think.
Ah.
Yeah, well, at least Solo's told me because he's on crafting all the time. So.
Okay, I can't find the post, but I do remember that there were there's going to be 2 slots for maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Tuesday and Friday, and they're going to be 5 a.m. local. So I'm not sure which US time zone they're choosing to base the NA mega server downtime on. But I believe it's also it'll come down the EU mega server will come down 5 a.m. on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings.
Now, is that 5 a.m. Eastern?
That's local.
Oh, it's local. Okay, that's better. So they
That's what I recall, but I'm just trying to find where it's posted.
See, that's not too bad, but 8 o'clock at night is rubbish.
Yeah, that was really, really poor. Regular maintenance days and times. Okay, North American mega server Tuesdays at 8 a.m. EDT.
Okay, right, yeah.
Which is 12 p.m. GMT, and Fridays at the same time. European mega server is Tuesdays at 6 a.m. CEST, which is 5 a.m. British Summer Time. Yep. And the same again on Fridays.
I think that maintenance that was done, I'm going to throw something out. I could be totally wrong. It seems to me that the only reason they would have done that is to prevent some sort of exploitation, something bigger than they wanted to talk about or announce, just out of, they don't want to throw out what it was in case other people want to try to exploit it. But to take it down from 6 to 8:30 at night had to have been something. Because remember, they shut down the mail server too for a while, and they shut down. So I wonder if that might have been part of it.
That primetime one in particular was because they wanted to patch the EU server because of an issue that had come off in the North American server, which they developed a patch for, which was there were some inventory issues, people gaining and losing items at random, and that caused some other knock-on effects apparently, and some other mail-related issues.
Fair enough.
So they would just want to get out there as quick as possible.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. Anything else on the TEP side, on the patch side?
Not really. I mean, it's basically a whole load of show-stopping sort of bugs they've been fixing quests, making sure the dark anchors don't get stuck.
Okay.
Because they got a bit sticky. Those hooks are a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And sometimes the mobs weren't stopping or weren't starting appropriately with large groups of people. But it's just general, get things running smoothly kind of stuff this week.
Good.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, thank you for that, Teppo. Another big announcement, I think, was made on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday of this week, the new area called Craiglorn, which actually borders Cyrodiil just south of Bangarai. They had a video along with it with Paul Sage kind of going through all of the details of it. High-level content from everything I understand.
All right, yeah.
But it has, a full storyline with a bunch of different chained quests, but also side quests along with it, for both 4-person parties and 12-person parties, which is pretty cool.
It's about time. Having a 12-person party is great.
Yeah.
Especially when you have, because normally we play with a massive group, don't we? With like 10 people.
Yeah,
so
it can
that's
be.
quite nice, yeah. We can do.
And I guess the 12-player content is, unique to the 4, so it's different. There's more stuff to it, which is kind of cool.
And I guess this goes to also
ahead.
show that, they're adding, it seems like they're going to be adding stuff quite often, which is good.
Hopefully. I mean, you hope that that's what it is. This probably had been built, I would guess, months ago, right? But it's just something to kind of keep people excited about it right after release, I think. And then they also say there's these things called trials in the video.
Cool.
Which are, I kind of equivalate.
I have to say, I haven't watched the video.
Oh, that's fine. It's whatever. It's good. It's actually pretty well done in explaining it. They're like raids, and they are separate from the regular quest lines and stuff in that they are super. It's like on when you're playing any game on extreme level difficulty.
Right. Awesome. Is it? And I take it it's actually like a raid area. So I wonder if it is like a raid area, almost like Cyrodiil or...
Well, the area itself is I wouldn't say is a raid area, right? I mean, so Craiglorn isn't, but there is separate to it, from what I could understand in the video, these raid-like contents called trials.
Cool.
That's what I got from it. And there's also some veteran PvP content that they briefly mentioned. I don't know if it's like Battleground stuff or what's separate from the regular PvP content, but it was they didn't go into detail enough in the video for me to grasp it. But there is these trial groups, these raid groups that I was referring to. There's also going to be like leaderboards for renown and that kind of thing. And
nice.
Depending upon how fast you complete the trials, you'll go up on the leaderboard, and you have special rewards for being some of the top. So some pretty cool stuff for the high-level players to keep them interested, because I can't believe I've seen as many.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
High-level people so far.
It's ridiculous though, because you wonder, like, do they actually read the quests? Honestly,
okay,
or do they just go from zone to zone without reading anything?
At launch, they said a casual player would take 140 hours to hit max level. How do you guys feel about that?
Oof. 140 hours. So I think it's taken me 10 hours to reach about level 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So approximately level per hour. No, because there's only 50 levels.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? I mean, it sounds
like 14 weeks, about 3 months. I think that's good.
Is that about right?
Slower than most.
I don't know, though. I mean...
So how are people hitting 50? How many days are we in? With pre-launch?
People are probably just hitting 50 because they're either not working and they've taken the time off. They either don't work or they've taken the time off and just play. I can only assume they've just played endlessly.
Wow. And they don't have any alts, probably.
And probably, and that's an issue because when you keep having alts, you just can't level. You level really slowly. And they're probably playing by themselves. And to be fair, they're probably not... I can't speak for them because, I don't know. But I can only imagine that they must not really be reading the quests.
Oh, I'm sure not.
Because if you're sitting there and listening to the quests and stuff, it's gonna add to the time, isn't it?
What are your experiences so far on that? I think you're right, Jen. What are your experiences so far in other games? These first 30 days, which are free. Do these players typically... I mean, is there a ratio of how many just, totally go full in, and then when the 30 days is over, they're done? And that's why they're hitting 50 so fast? Or are these players that just want to be at the top for the whole time that they play the game? Or what is the psyche on this?
I think there's a couple of different things at play there. Some people, and I think a lot of people perhaps do that. They treat MMOs like Call of Duty or not even that, but just off the shelf single player games. They buy it, they play it for that free time, they never subscribe.
Right.
So they want to get the most out of it. They want to hit top level. They want to complete the game, if you like, to the standard of completion. You also get the other group of people who were in beta. Mm-hmm. Who have done all this before.
Mm-hmm.
So
that
they
is
have
true,
to go through to the end and become great and mighty and lead the world first sort of thing with doing the dungeons and whatever and whatnot. And then you just get people who just consume content. They're just really into it. And I've done that in games in the past. STO's Star Trek Online is a slightly weird one because it was ridiculously easy and still is. But I hit the level cap in that when it came out in 3 days.
Wow.
I wasn't sitting at the computer for 3 solid days. Yeah. I think it maybe was 30 hours total.
Okay.
So about 10 hours a day.
Okay. Did you do that with Lotro too?
No.
Lotro, you can't. Oh, God, Lotro is just jam-packed with stuff.
Yeah.
Lotro took me
So
forever.
difficult.
I never did do it solo. I had to do it with my group character.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing with Lotro as well, it's just like you get to. I got my character 60th level or something, or 55th, which was the highest level, and then as I got to 55th, they brought it, and then 10 levels, and it was just like, oh my god, there's so much content, it takes forever.
That's good. That's a good thing, though, right? So this is leaning more towards that maybe than Star Wars, or more kind of in between.
Well, I think Star Wars just took no time at all, to be honest, because if you follow through the class quest, you can finish it really fast. I mean, I know that a couple of people were disappointed, which is ridiculous in my opinion. We're disappointed because they got to 50 level in like a day. It's like, well, okay, fine,
What?
but because they're just crazy, you know.
That is crazy.
And to be honest, I think some people just do it for the, some people just do it for the kicks as well. It's like, yeah,
sure.
I'm so awesome. I got to 50th level. It's like, oh, okay. You get old and you start going, yeah, great.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Well, I'm glad they are coming out with content. I wouldn't expect something weekly, but it's pretty cool, and I would think that maybe within the next month we'll hear of something else. But it's nice for the people who are capping that they have some extra content and something to enjoy instead of just banging their heads on the wall in PvP. So, next story. There is a cartoonist, Harry Partridge, who has done things like The Elder Scrolls Adventures with Dova Kids and Song of Skyrim. Anyway, there is one called Back in Tamriel.
Awesome.
And it's pretty good. I've linked it for those listening. I've linked it so you can watch it on YouTube. And he puts a fun little twist on the game early on, but pretty clever. Have you guys ever seen any of his stuff at all before?
I haven't, actually. Have you, Tip?
I've not seen any of his previous week, no, but I quite enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's a lie. I watched half of his Hitman Absolution thing just before we started recording today.
How was that?
Which is also quite accurate to the game in its absurdity.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good, funny chap.
He's got good talent for this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it, and I'm going to have to listen to it 3 times to catch everything because it went pretty fast for a slow mind like mine.
You have to listen to it about 4 times.
All this moon sugar.
You gotta cut down. We keep telling you need to cut down. You know, it's a bad drug. Bad drug.
Moon sugar.
Define bad. I'm happy when I'm doing it.
It's not 90s bad, which means good.
Right. That's right.
90s bad. You mean like?
Yeah.
It was 80s, wasn't it?
No,
nah, it's 90s.
Nice. Yeah. Late 80s.
It's Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
All right.
I feel old.
Yeah, don't we all?
Next article is on. This is kind of helpful. In fact, really helpful. Essential ESO tips. This was put out by ESO themselves on their on the official website, and they go through and talk about some basic things. So I don't know if we want to share or trade off, but I want to cover some of these because I think
that's cool.
They're really valuable. We ran into them right away and kind of felt the pain. But for those who are listening, we can maybe help you alleviate this kind of thing from happening when you start playing if you haven't yet.
Alleviate the stress.
Yeah. So choosing your mega server, they state that you want to play the mega server that you feel like you're going to have the most comfort playing, but you can play them both. So I've done that now. I don't know if you guys have yet.
You do have to re-download, though.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So you'll have a client for both.
Doesn't share assets. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a full 30 gigs or whatever it is each.
Yep.
Oh, it's just crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
I have to say I've not actually installed the North American server, to be honest.
Yeah, I did about 3 days ago. So.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I would if I had more time.
Yeah. Yes, it's the key, isn't it? It's time.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I was at uni, I had nothing better to do than to play games all the time. So.
Those are heady days playing Tabula Rasa.
Oh yeah.
Till it died.
Yeah.
Do you want to trade off, Jen? Are you on the article? Do you want to take the next one, or do you want me to go ahead and go through them?
Well, actually, I'll take the accidental bonus item deletion because this happened to me.
I know.
So thank you for letting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Actually, they eventually gave my stuff back. Yay! But
that's nice.
It was after they sent a survey. They sent a survey. How was your customer service? It was rubbish.
Have you sorted that out yet?
They did, but it was only after they sent me a survey to ask me what I thought of customer service, and I said, "Well, my issue hasn't been resolved yet." After a week, they keep pointing me to different issues that I haven't even spoken about, and all I want are my items back that I deleted, because here it says, if you've got the Explorer Pack or Imperial Edition, don't delete your character. When I had done that, they hadn't put up the warning. So that was kind of frustrating. But they eventually did give them back to me.
Good.
So it was nice. But yeah, it really annoyed me.
What's the trick with it, Jen? If you're starting out.
The trick with what? If they
with
don't
not having it happen to you.
Oh, just don't delete your character. If you
put your stuff in your bank.
Stuff in your bank, which is probably the number one thing to do, and then you can take it on any. You can put it on any character you want. But if you actually accidentally open the stuff, as I did, and it was on a character,
the maps.
Yes, it will be deleted. So
cool. All right, thanks. Tep, you want to take the next one? Sorry, Jen. Didn't know you're done.
I'm just going to add, if you have the map packs, you can't put the boxes into your bank. You have to open them up, and then you've got to put all 8 or whatever maps that spit out into your bank. Bank space is not great. It's about roughly the same space as your default bag start with, I think. About 60. So it does take up quite a lot of space. If you open all of them, that's probably about 25, 30 slots you've just taken out straight away.
Accidentally. And I did take up about 30 slots.
Hey, after I told you about it as well.
Was it? Oh, well, I never listened to you.
I know, right?
No, I'm joking. Yes.
I'm not.
And the one thing about that as well is the bank. I've been finding going to my bank a lot really irritating because it's like the same comment over and over again, especially when you're in Daggerfall. Have you ever heard the saying, neither a borrower or lender be... I was just like, oh God, shut up. I'm sick of hearing that same comment over. And I see that you've experienced it.
Oh, man. And then there's another one.
Bonkers.
Yeah. There's another one at the blacksmith that you'll have a kick with. But it's very frustrating.
Not to mention the, we've built this like a fortress.
I'll just give you the quick bleep of it, or the quick blurb of it. It's, I'd like to buy that man an ale. You'll hear that so often, it will drive you crazy after you save the king in Daggerfall. Yeah.
I think the worst thing about that is, though, I can't speak to the people and go up to them and go, well, okay then, buy my ale. Buy my ale. It's me, I saved the king, it's me. Give me an ale. Yeah. That is annoying.
Teppo, you want to do the Pledge of Mara?
No,
okay,
not
so
again.
To use your Pledge of Mara and complete the ritual, you got to place the pledge in your quick slot menu by pressing the Q on the inventory screen. Then drag the pledge to a quick slot. Have you guys done this or not?
No.
Okay.
I have with one character with Solo.
Okay. So you visit the shrine, place your target on the partner that you want to do this with, and then you hold down the Q. Release it, and that completes the ritual. And da-dum! Is there a song that goes with it?
No, but you do kind of you float up in the air, and there's like all kind of gold sparkles around you. It's quite colorful.
Cool. Any buff for it or not? Anything that
you get like a 10% XP bonus when you're playing with the person.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And that's a permanent XP bonus. So quite useful if you're playing with the same person. And I have a feeling that you also, although don't quote me on this, and maybe you guys might know better than I do, but I think the other person also gains experience if they're not online and you're playing, but they don't gain as much, obviously. But I think there's something like that.
Okay, cool. We'll skip the redeeming your retail code. I think most people know that, hopefully. But exploring and questing, don't forget to leave the beaten path. I don't want to... You want to take those, Tip? I feel bad that I'm talking all the time here.
Well, the Sky Shards, Way Shrines.
Yep.
People should know that there's stuff. Don't just follow the paths. There's stuff off the path. You'll get stuff pop up in your compass anyway when you get near things like Mundus stones. They're the big things like the Lover's Stone and whatever. Yeah. They give you a permanent bonus until you use another Mundus Stone, in which case it overwrites. But through death and all this, it'll continue. I think the Lover's Stone is the one I remember because it's incredibly easy to get to. It's just outside of Daggerfall or Glenumber or whatever it is. And gives you an armor bonus, for instance.
I still haven't found any others.
Oh, there's loads.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know there are, but I don't think I've found many others apart from the one in Glenumbra.
I don't think you've been past any others or been nearby any others. It's since launch.
Yeah.
But we visited one in beta in Stonefalls.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
In the big lava pit.
Yes, I remember that.
I can't remember what it does. But yeah, there's other things out there. Crafting resources and chests. Chests are great. I love chests. I love my chests and I cannot
lie. The bigger one's better, right, Tap, or not?
They're all the same size.
Oh.
once you've got your pick of them.
Actually, it's been very good. We've been very good, haven't we? Because I think we mentioned this last week, didn't we? How we're sharing chests, which is the only way you can really do it.
Yeah. After the first slight kerfuffle, I quickly institute. If I'm in a group with someone, we do it in order of the
I think
group.
it's a good idea. Unless, of course, the only time I've ever stopped doing that is if someone is closer to the chest than me and there's someone else running over the horizon. I go, get it, open it, open it, open it. You just give me the items.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
That is fair, because you don't want anyone else getting your chests to you. Yeah.
There are add-ons out there as well, which will help you find stuff if you're not into spending time exploring, but do want all the extra stuff. I think the ESO head add-ons help you with that. I don't know whether they take... Yeah, I think they take some information off their servers as well to show you where some things are.
Because you guys use a couple, don't you?
Yeah, I use mine to track the resources I've already found. So I know where to go back to find some more iron ore. Where there's a good cluster of it. That's about it, really. You can add a whole load of other filters on there, like showing you where sky shards are and things like that, and Mundus stones.
And do you use any, Sven? Or?
No, but I need to for runes because it's driving me nuts.
Do pop that on. Disable the rest of the filters you don't want, but keep the runes one on. It will help your locks. They're quite hard to spot.
They can be,
yeah, they can be. I saw the horse thing in there.
Oh yeah, feeding your horse.
Yay! Got to feed your horse. It only costs 250 gold a day.
Only 250 gold.
But I've noticed that the sprinting is borked, meaning that you have unlimited sprint right now, right?
Yeah, if you hold it down, the horse's stamina bar will deplete, but it'll get to 0 and you'll still be sprinting. So
that's
I hope they don't fix that.
Don't buy a lot of apples right now. Go ahead and buy the other things. And
unless. I don't know. Have you tried it in PvP, Sven?
Yep.
Oh, so it does the same thing in PvP?
Yep.
Okay, never mind.
Yep. I did also see skills. I didn't realize that there were, what do you call that when you are able to respec?
Respec, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, respec. There's something called a Shrine of Stendar in a capital city, and you pay a gold, and you can reallocate your skill points.
That's a really good idea. I mean, I've never been to a capital city, so I wouldn't know.
I haven't either yet.
Yeah, me neither. I knew there must be some way to respec, but I didn't know what it was yet.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Very good, yeah.
So you'll gain an experience in a skill line when you have its abilities, obviously, in your shortcut bar. So if you're trying to gain skill points, you got to have that into your skill bar, one of your 5 skills.
Or if it's a weapon and armor, wear it and use it.
Right.
Yes, most definitely, yeah. And even wearing, as you would in Skyrim, or Oblivion, and the others, even wearing like different pieces of armor will give you bonuses in that armor. So if you decide you want to wear a heavy chest piece and you want to wear a light belt, you can still gain the armor bonuses.
Yeah, in fact, the game seems to encourage mixing armors. So you can, particularly in tanking, there was some theory crafting going on in the Elder Scrolls Online Reddit, and it seemed to be quite a good mix to put in something like 4 or 5 slots of heavy and 2 or 3 slots of medium.
Yeah.
Because you'd get all of the armor bonuses and the health bonuses and the heavy, but also get the stamina bonuses from the medium. Even though your total armor would be slightly lower, you could use your abilities more often. You just keep going, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and next we've got grouping and guilds. Grouping is relatively easy. Because grouping, you just invite your friends. The only problem is, of course, when you go into certain instances, as you guys have probably found out, those who have been in groups, is that you can lose your party. So you just have to travel to the party. We also found out today, though, if you decide that you want to skip certain quests, let's say your friend's ahead of you, you can always jump to them and miss loads of stuff. Because we did that today, didn't we? Because I didn't feel like going through Bleak Rock again. Because I've gone through it now like umpteenth times. So I just hopped to Tep, who was in Davin's Watch, which was quite cool.
That's some Balfoyan.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yes. But, yeah, it was quite cool. Guilds as well. It took me some time. Actually, it didn't take me any time at all. It took me like a minute. So it took me some time. To me, a minute is some time now. When you want to talk to different guilds, you need to write. You need to type in /guild1/guild2 and things like that, and that will bring you into guild chat, which is quite handy. Also, when you go into the guild bank, you'll notice on the bottom of the screen, you can switch guilds by just clicking on. I think it's F or E or something, because basically when you go into your guild, there'll be when you go into your guild bank, it'll illustrate the guild that you're in on the bottom of the page, and of course you can switch between those. So that's pretty cool as well. Yeah, guild banks are a bit weird now though, because you really, and I'd say for those people who are getting into guilds, make sure that you have people who are honest in your guilds. Because there's no way to lock, as far as I know. I don't know if you guys have come across anything, but there's no way to lock guild banks.
Sure there is.
Is there?
Yeah, it's in the rank permissions.
Oh, right, okay. Well, in that case, there you go.
I just elevated all of you people to members, so you have access to the bank.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
So kind of you.
That's what you didn't notice. It's my efficient administration skills.
Yes. So there's, and what else are they talking about? They're saying when you reach level 12, you can take on tough bosses and earn great loot with 3 other players in your first group dungeon. Yes. I don't know what it's like at the moment, but when we experienced it in beta, we got our butts kicked at 12th levels.
I think we were under the level, though. I think we were only 10.
Were we only 10?
I think so. I think
we weren't even 10.
Were we not? Okay, well,
9.
And we had 3 instead of 4, and we'll get in there and we'll do well. We'll do well.
Yeah.
Okay, so more group content, some to some extent. Cyrodiil. I had a lot of people in chat that I've seen have difficulties joining PvP in Cyrodiil. Just, I guess it's not overly intuitive, but here's how you do it. It's really simple. Press L to bring up your menu for Alliance War. And then up in the top right, you'll have the different selections. I don't want to call them tabs because they're not, but they're icons in the top right. And you're going to select the far right one, which will be the campaigns. And it'll give you the list of all the campaigns. Now, there's 10 of them on the EU server. I think on the NA server there's more. But on the EU server, there's 10. And once you've selected a campaign, a home campaign, you are locked in it for 90 days. And you can get out of it, but it's going to cost quite a few what are called alliance points. But
that's interesting.
Take your time and select one. If you want to be on a super busy campaign, Oriel's Bow is the one to join. If you don't care so much about that, you can look down and see how many bars that'll signify the population from each alliance in there, and find the one that you feel like in your prime time that it's the right population for you, and go ahead and you can test it out first if you'd like before you call it your home server by selecting guest. When you guest in a campaign, you don't get all the rewards, but you do get 24 hours to test it out.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. So that is handy. You will still get alliance points for kills, and you will still be able to complete missions, some of the missions. I did that quite a bit because I called one of the most low-populated server as my home on my solo character, not on Smith. And I was so bored that I had to guest, and I've been guesting since until I can get 15,000 alliance points to switch to a more active server. But anyway, that's how you do the Cyrodiil. So
key is, I guess, to really go for maybe a medium one if you kind of want peace and relaxation, but also fun time.
Yeah, whatever suits your fancy, I suppose, right? So if you like the locked server where it takes you a queue to get in, you can do that.
Yeah.
But if you are more into there's PvE content within there. So if you're more into the quests and stuff and you want to just go in there and do some of the PvE content, you can join a low pop server. So, crafting. I think, Tep, maybe if you have a second, could you touch on that part in there?
Not a lot to say about crafting that isn't particularly obvious. Go out there, harvest resources, come back to your crafting bench and make things.
Yeah.
I'd say the most important facts are if you're going to do one of the 3 major crafts, which is clothing, blacksmithing, or woodworking, get to level 2 in your craft as quickly as possible by crafting just one of each of a couple of items, because it gives you the biggest XP initially. And then spend a skill point in the Keen Eyes for wood or metal or fiber, whatever. Whichever one in the craft you're following, because that will help you a lot. But the other thing to do is make sure that you loot boxes and baskets and things, so you pick up the racial crafting style. So you can initially only craft the armor and weapon styles of your particular race, but as you find these racial motifs, I think I found a Red Guard one the other day as an ultimate. Once you use those, it incorporates into your lore book, if you like, and you can then craft Red Guard in this instance, but the other races stuff. They're quite valuable.
I have 4 of them.
Some
Oh, yes.
on.
I must thank Sven for sending that lovely armor, actually.
Did you like it?
That's awesome.
Yeah, good.
What armor was it? What was it?
That is Dunmer, but I also just found
Pretty good.
Altmer now too. So I have.
Awesome.
That's Svenita.
Are you finding this all in the PvP zone?
Nope, the first 2, the Dunmer and the Khajiit.
Right, okay.
I found, and then the other one I just found in a barrel. Yeah, just kind of handy. So, all right, next item.
Right, combat. Excellent. Well, let's see. Combat. Yeah, you should probably all know how to do this.
Well,
click the right button
unique
to block. Dodge. Yeah, dodge is pretty useful, actually. Don't forget to dodge, because you can really save yourself a lot of agony by dodging from things. Especially when you get loads of fireballs, or you get the mass kind of circular round area of aggro around you. Yeah, dodge. Get out of that area. And of course, you've got your left mouse button as well, which hits stuff, and you've got your keys that you use to. Also, what?
Here's some eggs. Don't forget, dodging takes up quite a lot of stamina.
It does
as well.
take up quite a lot of stamina, but I think it's quite fun. And yeah, well, so does blocking take up quite a lot of stamina, so you need to be careful with those things. And also, obviously, he interrupted my thoughts. See? God, rude man. Yes, and also make sure that you really strategically pick, especially, I don't know if you guys had experienced it, but I know I have with PvP and other things, pick the certain abilities that you want and make sure they're suitable for what you're doing, because there's some abilities that I personally found more suitable for PvP and more suitable to PvE. And of course, because you're limited to, 5? Pick them with care.
Oh, I found one that I just love, Jen. Have any of you guys, for Sword and Borders, there's a ability that when they attack you with a magic spell or whatever, the first one they attack you with, after you've used this, the first one they attack actually spins back and attacks them.
Awesome. That is awesome. Cool. I have not done that because I've not played a Sword and Board user yet. So
it is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It'd be great if you can see when a crystal shard coming your way in PvP.
It would be.
That would really, really surprise the sorcerer.
That would be awesome. Block, block, bam, bam. And Sven, I know this was kind of my thing to take combat, but you said you've experienced the equipping weapons and switching between weapons, which I haven't really done a great deal because, I've not gotten to 15th level. So what was that like?
Well, I love it because, of course, it connects with your weapon loadout, right? So if you have, for instance, right now I have, and it's going to seem strange to some people out there, but I have two-handed weapon as my first loadout. Okay.
Cool.
And then I have sword and board as my second.
Oh, right. Okay. Is that for DPS and?
Yep. Exactly.
Protection? Okay.
Exactly. And so when I toggle, and it's really, I love where they put the toggling. Is it called the tilde? I'm trying to think of the key right above your tab key to the left of the one, right? So they put it right there to do you could put it wherever you want, but that's where it's put originally. And it's so handy for me. I actually like that. But I use it all the time now.
That's awesome.
At 15. And it's on the fly. So, I mean, you don't even have to be out of combat. Even in combat, you can switch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Useful. Because there's normally a delay, isn't there?
There usually is. I was shocked. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's a bug or whatever, but I was able to do it on the fly. And so, yeah, I used that special ability I just told you about on this last PvE boss I was on. And he starts off by, throwing this thing at you, and it came right back and hit him, and he was down like 25% health, just like that.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. So
That's pretty awesome.
switch over to my two-handed weapon, and off I went. But so, yeah, hit 15, get up to 15, if you're out there playing, and make sure to take advantage of that right away if you're a bow or person, or if you like, staff or whatever it is, and you want to be able to have both loadouts without having to, get away from combat and set up all your skill keys. That gets to be kind of a pain. So
that's awesome. And Tep,
Yes.
what about the quick slot stuff?
What about the quick slot stuff?
Yeah, because you actually explained it to me, so...
I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
I was just going to say, do you want to cover the quick slot stuff? About the queuing and that type of thing?
Yes, sure. You know what? I don't think anyone who's listening to this podcast does not know how to use the quick slots.
Really?
I don't know. It can be slightly tricky, because especially the holding down the button.
it's different than
Holding down the
it's
button.
different
seriously.
than most MMOs.
The only problem I have with quick slots so far is accidentally pressing Q in combat and drinking one of my potions. But if for anyone who doesn't know, you go to your inventory in the top right-hand corner is a little sort of weird curvy arrow thing that changes your inventory into quick slot mode. So anything that you can, provide you're on all or whatever category, anything in that filter that can go in a quick slot will then show up, and nothing else that can't, say your arm and your weapon suit can't go into quick slots won't show up. Yes, drag it into the circle in the middle, hold down Q when you get back to the game, and select which one you want to be your active thing, and then you just have to tap Q to use it up. Great for potions. I use it for treasure maps more often than not.
Yes, that's actually a good
As I'm
idea.
homing in.
Yeah.
Because you can put them in there, and you can just tap Q and go, oh, no, it's actually 100 meters to the right, or, oh, I recognize that rock, but from the other side, or whatever.
Very cool.
That helps quite a lot.
I
don't know.
food,
What else?
actually.
Yeah, food's quite good. I do know a lot of cooking in game, so it's quite
Really
useful.
useful in this game, actually. It's kind
My
of...
character's an alcoholic.
Sorry?
My character's an alcoholic. Doesn't go
Is this
50 bucks.
Teppy?
Yes, I think it is. But just because I've been crafting so much, because I loot all the barrels and sacks and everything all around the place. Never mind just coming out of Cold Harbor the first time, enough to make like 30 or 40 ales. Because I loot everything and pick all that stuff up. I just make so much booze. I'm just jangling as I walk around Tamriel. Take another drink, smack him in the face. It's a party time. Yeah, it's quite
Yeah, and I
crazy.
think it's really funny because he keeps feeding us, like he keeps giving us loads and loads of alcohol. I'm like, gosh, I could really use it. I could really use some bread. Here, have some wine. Thank you.
Just fatten you up.
Honestly, have a beer. Thank
So
you.
when you die, I have something to eat.
That's really useful. It's very good. It actually reminds me of the food in Lotro that did it quite well, because certain games don't really use food very well. But it's nice to have food that lasts for like 35 minutes. And it gives you that boost that you need, either health boost or stamina boost, and magic boost as well, right? Tep? Haven't really dealt with food very often.
I believe so. There's some of that.
It's all three stats.
Yeah.
There's different ones. It actually divides. Essentially, wine is for magicka. I think ale is for health, and spirits are for stamina. I think.
Cool. Yeah.
That's how it divides that up. I couldn't tell you about the food. I can't quite remember what the categories work out there. But again, same thing. That the food generally increases your max, and drink generally increases your regen, from what I've seen so far. But I also think I think it extends to things like power food, increasing your power stat and stuff like that later on. But just to the basic sort of stuff that I'm at the moment, sort of green recipes and lower levels, it seems to be just restricted to 3 primary pools, if you like. One other thing to note that wasn't in this at all. Once you finish Cold Harbor for the first time, you will have access to the Soul Trap spell.
Right.
Slot
Yes.
this. Now, this thing levels up as the whole story quest goes on, but slot this. Spend the money. I think they're about 21 gold pieces each, 21, 25 gold pieces each on some empty soul gems.
They are very useful.
And use this ability. because the soul gems, once they've been filled, so you have to use the ability on a monster and then kill it by the time before that soul trap thing wears off, and then it fills up one of your soul gems. Those full soul gems allow you to res yourself, res other people, or recharge the enchantment effect on your weapons and armor.
Yep.
So they're really useful. The only real downside of it is they're level specific. So the petty ones are 1 to 9. I think the common ones then go from 10 to 19.
Yeah, do be careful as well when you get them that you get the right level.
If you're level 9, don't buy 10 of them and petty ones, because you're not going to get through them that quickly. That should be really terrible. But that ability will also morph as well. I think the two choices you have for that are either fill 2 soul gems instead of 1, which is all right. You're probably going to use it more often than you need to anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The other one, which is one I always choose, is if the creature dies while this is on it, it replenishes 7% of each of your energy pools.
Which is really useful.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but it does help.
Yep.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good. Lots of good stuff in there. Thanks for that soul trap one, too, because, that's useful. I actually took another skill up in that chain, which is because I tend to forget to fill soul traps, or whatever. It's a freebie every 2 hours. You don't have to have a soul trap. It's a free res every 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, so I took that because I'm an idiot and forget to fill up soul traps. So, then the last item I thought would be interesting is just to start touching on the reviews. They're kind of still early, and I'm glad that a lot of companies, a lot of publications haven't come out with a lot of comprehensive reviews or even quick jerk reviews. But there are some, and one in particular that I saw. I went down to Metacritic because it's what do they call it? A consolidator or whatever of all the reviews.
Aggregator.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
That's the word I was looking for.
Aggregator.
Games TM, which I tend to have pretty good luck with their reviews, did a nice objective review of the game. Scored it only 80, but did a nice positive, negative, brief review on their experience thus far. And if you get a chance, pop on to their site and take a peek at their initial impression of the game. I think what the way they summarize it probably is what I like the most was what they said is what Bethesda has succeeded at doing is making an online role playing that a little bit more accessible while offering massively multiplayer fans the access to a world they've likely been as keen to explore as any other in the history of gaming.
Yeah.
That the development team has been able to retain the mechanisms of play together with the depth of content in the face of a breed of gamer whose capacity to consume is unrivaled is perhaps the game's biggest achievement. Now all Bethesda needs to do is keep up the pace.
I quite like their strap line at the very end. Verdict, 8 out of 10, take your I'm the only one hat off.
Yeah, it was good. I saw that too.
Just cuts to the quick, I think.
It does.
So Elder Scrolls Online, it's doing okay.
Yes.
Generally speaking, 80 plus. Metascore is averaging 83.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of negative ones, a couple of mixed ones. I don't mean to sound like a fanboy because I'm not. I suspect quite a lot of the negative reviews are down to people expecting it to be like an Elder Scrolls game that we've had before, not like an MMO. Mm-hmm. I've always considered it to be an MMO in Elder Scrolls universe rather than an Elder Scrolls game in the MMO format.
Good point.
I think that's the thing. I think that if you approach it as an MMO game and not as Elder Scrolls, an Elder Scrolls solo game, it's much more enjoyable. At the end of the day, if you want to play an Elder Scrolls Online game, get Skyrim, it's got loads of mods, get Oblivion, loads of mods. These things with loads of mods, so it's useful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how about we touch our... Oh, man, where am I going to go with this right now? Should I stop and go back?
I think you should rewind that.
No, plow ahead, man.
Let's touch our listeners. I mean, let's touch what kind of feedback we got from our listeners. Jen, save me.
You want me to say? I don't know.
Listener feedback. Did we get anything?
We didn't get loads. We got a couple. I mean, we got some from Aaron, who says, "Yay, thank you, Aaron." Um,
You made a little Kirby as
a little
well.
Kirby, which is very cute. We've got Scott, who asked about any news on Xbox. I mean, I answered this online, but basically, as far as we know, we don't know about the Xbox beta. As soon as we know about it, we'll let you know for PS and Xbox. We promise.
Yeah. All we know is they're releasing in June.
Yes.
Sometime. That was the last thing they said. Whether that's still the case, I don't know.
Yeah, so if it follows the routine that it followed with PC release, we're probably looking at a beta maybe at the end, maybe in May. Something like that. But we'll keep you updated on when we know that for sure. Yes, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wrote my comment as well. I haven't been on there a lot this week because I've been like in geek heaven with ESO and Game of Thrones. So my time was taken up on other things. But I will make sure that I'm on there more often next week. And we really want to hear from you guys. So please just share your stuff with us. Let us know how you're getting on. We want to hear. And even if you don't want to tell us your name, just say, and we won't bring up your names. So. But do give us your feedback, because it's the only way that we can bring you the show that you want.
We have, if you want to talk with us in-game, we have set up our guild now, for those who have asked. I think there was someone who had asked about a guild on Twitter.
Yeah, a number have, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So we have set it up. It is on the EU mega server. It is in the Aldmeri Dominion Alliance. The name is, it's pretty hard to remember this one. It's ESO Reporter. Shocker. If you want to, there's really no, other than being a decent human being, there's no requirement. So if you want to hit me up, I'm at Sven, of course, with 2 V's, and Jen and Tep. You could also hit them up as well. And just send an email for an invite, or if you see us in game, send a text or a chat request, and we'll gladly have you on. So yeah, that's out there, and we'll see how that goes. You're welcome to join, and maybe we'll hit some dungeon content or whatever together.
That'd be awesome. We are on the EU server there, and I'd like to remind you guys as well that unfortunately we're quite talkative, as you can tell. So if you send us messages, we will respond. So if you don't want us to respond, then don't send us messages. But if you'd like us to respond, please do. On the site, to be honest. In game, that's fine as well when we're in the guilds and stuff. I'm cool with that. So.
And it really doesn't matter if you're a EU player or a NA player in terms of time zones, because we cover them both, because we are Greenland's #1 transatlantic.
Exactly, and Sven is quite often on NA times, and we're quite often on EU times, so we do cover all the bases. All
right, so cool. That's it for today's podcast. Contact information has not changed. You can email us at eso@mmoreporter.com. Twitter, I am at SvenIM. Jen is at Genara, and Teppo is at Tepotastic. Or you can just send it to our regular at ESO Reporter Twitter. And Facebook, we are facebook.com/ESO Reporter. And who wants to take the voicemail, which I tried to avoid every time?
Teppo, you can do it.
Okay, voicemail is 616-666-6778, or you can use the widget on the right-hand side of mmoreporter.com. It's super easy, super simple, and you can send us a message on there. If you want to just send us a message and have us talk about it, but don't want us to play the message because you're self-conscious about your voice or anything, that's pretty fine. Just say so in the message. That's cool. But if otherwise, we're going to play it. as Steve
like, from the Midlands found out.
Yes, Steve
Sorry,
from the Midlands.
Steve.
I'm not apologizing.
Not at all.
It was very good, though. Thank you for that, Steve.
We'll see you next Friday, next week, or next weekend, and enjoy your playtime over the week, and hope to see you in game. Until then, I am Sven.
I'm Teppo.
And I'm Jen. Cheerio.
Cheerio. ESO Reporter is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter to get your first month free. Member benefits include 1 free audiobook per month. Members save 30% on additional purchases And it includes free digital subscriptions to the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. Again, go to audibletrial.com/MMOreporter and get 1 month free trial.
Weird ending.
Oh, well. Maybe we'll leave it with Adam in the end.
No.
Well, put on
Good night,
the
everyone.
music.
Good night.
Yes, and good night.
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 Good night.
Yes, and good night.